Alright, no need to see bus stand. Just come forward, man. So less people and you're sitting at the back. Come forward. Rakesh, the projector is on, right? The remote. Yep. See. Chalo. I'll do it. Okay, first of all, let me remove one doubt. This is a workshop. It's not a seminar or a demo class or anything of that sort. What does that mean? The first thing I dropped a bomb. It's a workshop, not a seminar or a demo class. Because the advertisement went as a demo class, right? That's what you all know. See, seminar is something where just a person comes, presents the idea and leaves. It's a very crude thing, practically. A very simplistic thing. I'm least bothered about that. Right? In a demo class, the teacher comes and teaches. Done? No. Here we are going to do certain things together. So this will go one step further. It will be a joint activity kind of a thing. We'll study something and then we'll also be working on that simultaneously. Right? So this is not a demo class, not a seminar, it's a workshop. Be careful about it. Let's know what sociology is properly. Okay? Get in. Let me first talk about what is sociology or this subject itself. See, it will be really odd and I would say very simpleton if I am supposed to introduce sociology as a subject to you. You know why? You all have been born and brought up in a society. You all know your societies, respective societies, from where you're coming. Right? Whether it's Hyderabad you're from or you're from some other place, doesn't matter. But you are born and brought up in a society and you know your society properly. Right? So what are we going to do here? What does sociology do? Sociology as such is said to be a subject studying the society systematically. Do we have copies with us? Take out the copies. Let me give you a very simple definition of sociology. Sociology is, write it down somewhere. Sociology is a systematic and scientific study, of the society. First and foremost thing, what is the most significant thing in this definition? The society itself. It's all about the society. Right? You may, naturally a question should come. This question is there actually. That why do we need a separate subject? Why should you study sociology to know the society? You already know the society. Right? Believe me, what you know is good, but is not even 10%. There can be more horrendous things or far more vast expanses of knowledge than what you have. What you have is just a glimpse of it. Right? We are comfortable with English and Hindi both. Right? Chalo. If you get trouble with English at any given point of time, do raise your hand. I'll try to explain it in Hindi as well. I can't do that in Telugu till now, right? Maybe in the future, I can understand Telugu a little bit. Maybe in the future, I'll be able to speak. My primary problem is I don't speak much in Telugu, so my Telugu is not at all fluent. Fluent, forget it, man. I can understand, but I can't speak properly. Okay, anyway, let's come back. So this is what sociology is, right? Question is, why in UPSC we should go for sociology, or how is sociology as an optional in UPSC? Because let me be very honest here, guys. You are not here to study sociology for the sake of doing your masters or for the sake of doing PhD. Let's be very practical and let's be very focused, right? See, while going for choosing an optional, if you ask me, I'll always say, follow certain basic steps. Let's follow some basic points and see which subject is suitable to us. Which all subjects are there which are suitable to us, right? The very first point, GS is already a vast thing. It's extremely vast in its expanse. Anyone here who thinks that GS is very easy, very small syllabus and something like that? Not really, right? 4 papers, 1000 marks, and practically whatever comes under the sun is part of GS. That's GS. Okay? Now, naturally, tell me, in this condition, should you go for an optional subject which is also vast? Can you handle 2 vast things? Preferably, let's go for a subject which is smaller in syllabus. First point. Let's be practical, guys. Right? Number of us, we think that, okay, I have done my graduation in this particular subject, so maybe I'll be familiar with this subject. Right? Maybe I'll be able to score more with this subject. People become emotional. Guys, your graduation was a different ball game. UPSC is a different ball game. The way we have studied in graduation or in masters, right? That thing is not going to be applicable here in UPSC. Why? UPSC is all about application. Whatever you study, I'm least bothered about what's written in the books. Tell me how that is going to be applied on the ground, on the field. How that is impacting the lives of the people. Today, intentionally, we will be studying one topic from the syllabus and we'll study that topic in details. That handout that has been distributed with you, or to you rather, take it out. Why sociology? The syllabus is given there. Go to the syllabus of paper 2. In the syllabus of paper 2, go to the section of social movements. Those who are watching online, for them, let me tell you, as I have been told, there are some 7-8 people who are watching online. This particular material will be uploaded on the Google Drive and the link will be shared in the description shortly. Anyway, let's come back. Look at the section called social movements. Okay? One movement is mentioned there, women's movement. We will study that in details today. And not only the social movement, this particular topic, I'll be talking about condition of women in India grossly. Why? A major development has taken place recently. Women's Reservation Bill. Right? Passage of this bill is no doubt a landmark in India's history. Whether it is going to be implemented right away, after the caste census, or after the census and delimitation, that is after 2029, doesn't matter. Right? This is a step which should have been taken earlier, has not been taken, at least is being taken right now. That's a good part. Clear? So in that backdrop, yes, this is the topic I'm going to study. I would like to know from where our journey started, how things proceeded, what all changes happened. And believe me, lots of your ideas would be challenged today. Yeah, I do admit, as a student of sociology, again I'm saying this, you know quite a bit of sociology. Because you know about the society at large. You are also coming from a society. You're born and brought up in a society. I'm repeating myself. I know. And as a result, you know number of nuances of the society. No doubt about it. But that's very less in comparison to what society is. Say, if this is the whole understanding, you know maybe this much. The rest of the dimensions are yet to be seen. There is a plus point and a minus point. Plus point, things are not alien to you. We would not be discussing any rocket science here. These are everyday things, common things, regular things which you interact day in and day out. How many boys and girls here, how many of you travel in public transportation? Travel in metros and buses and all. To the boys, let me ask you, have you seen while traveling in the metros or in the buses, the girls, they carry their bags in the front? They don't have their bags at the back. We do. We boys do. The girls don't. They don't feel safe. These are the things, these are the minute things we would be looking at. They're happening in front of us, but we don't care to look at them. Tell me, what kind of animals are we? Clear? So there are a number of aspects which either we don't observe very keenly, or we have never experienced those things. Cannibalism, eating human flesh, and then again endocannibalism, eating someone's own relatives. Unthinkable to us, right? But that exists in society, even today. I am least bothered about the area. Tell me the name of the people. Four people. But they have stopped. 1950, through an act, this practice was stopped among the four people. There is another tribal community in Venezuelan and Brazilian rainforest, Amazon rainforest. There's a tribal community called Yanomami. Right? They still practice this thing. There are cultural reasons behind it. Let's not get into that right now. Right? We'll talk about all those things later on. Right now, just ignore those things. But what I was talking about is just a glimpse. I was trying to give you a glimpse of the overall expanse. What you don't know. I'm looking at that thing. Clear? So yes, you know certain things, which is an advantage. But you also do not know a lots of things. And we will be studying all of those things very keenly, and we will be just dissecting the society like anything. See guys, in the class, to me, you're just students. I'm least bothered about your gender, your caste, your religion, nothing. To me, you would just be a student. The moment you're entering from that door, to me, you are just a student. Because in this sociology class, what we are supposed to do, we are supposed to do a post-mortem. Post-mortem of the society. We'll make the society lay down in front of us, and we'll be cutting through various body parts of the society. That's exactly what we are going to do. There are good things, there are bad things. Fine. But we need to know about them. We need to know about them in details. Clear? So this is sociology. In Crux, I didn't go for any big lecture or anything of that sort. What I felt right is to directly give you a plunge into the subject. See what the subject is. See how it is. Let's talk about marriage. How many of you have never heard of marriage as a concept? Can anyone say that you have never heard of marriage as a concept? We all have, especially the marriage feast while someone gets married, right? Okay. Tell me, how many forms of marriage do you know? Let me ask you, let me go to Mahabharata. Let's talk about the marriage of Draupadi with the 5 brothers of the Pandavas. Was that a very unique thing to happen? 5 brothers marrying 1 woman. A very unique thing, na? Let's see. Someone please switch off these lights. Some of the lights can be switched off from here. I need someone to switch off those lights. Not all, man. Leave some. Yeah. Let's look at this particular tribal community in the Nilgiri region. The Toda people. Among the Todas, even today, it is a practice that the elder brother marries the lady, but she becomes the wife for all the brothers. Okay? One woman, all the brothers are the husbands. Not only among the Todas, I'm also looking at the Khasas of Jaunsar Bawar region of Uttarakhand. Let's not go for a YouTube video because okay. So these Khasa people that you're looking at, let's go for the image rather. Jaunsar Bawar is within the Garhwal region of Uttarakhand. Okay, Uttarakhand, the state, we all have heard of this, right? That state is actually divided into 2 regions. The way former Andhra Pradesh was divided into 3 regions: Simandhra, Rayalaseema, Telangana. Today, Telangana has separated, but still in Andhra Pradesh, we have 2 regions, Simandhra and Rayalaseema. Similarly, Uttarakhand is divided into 2 regions, Kumayu and Garhwal. Okay, this is within the Garhwal region, this Jaunsar Bawar, this place, right? They are the Khasas. What are you looking at? Only one woman, and look at all the brothers here. Who are the husbands, right? So, yes, even that form of marriage, what Draupadi went through, that's not something unique in India. Have you ever heard of these people previously? Todas, maybe. Khasas, high chances no. Clear? But marriage we all have heard about. We also know about the rules of marriages. Mostly we know about the monogamous relationship that exists. One woman, one man. Right? Look at this. That's also something, a form of marriage. And you know why it is effective? The reason is, this ensures that the family's property is not divided, it remains together. And at the same point of time, it also acts as a measure of population control. There can be so many brothers, but the woman can get pregnant only as many times. That's it. Now, she is supposed to give birth to either a boy or a girl. The girl will be married off. All the boys, again, they'll become brothers. Again, they'll be marrying one lady only. So do you realize in the process, number one, the population is remaining contented. The population is not expanding much. And the property of the family is remaining together. Because the area you're looking at, that's on the hills. Both the areas are on the hills. Land is a very scarce resource there. And if land is a scarce resource, tell me about agriculture. Tell me about food. Now do you realize why these practices? If the society is doing something, there would always be a reason behind it. Know the reason. And believe me, for the society, every reason, if a reason is there, everything is okay. You may think of something as licentious, you may think of something as very derogatory. Doesn't matter, that's your value. The people who are doing it, for them it's okay. Sabrimala. Women are not allowed, right? Why? Are the women impure? The Supreme Court tried to intervene and see what happened. Right? It became such a big issue. Why I took the issue of Sabrimala? Because I'm trying to keep myself restricted within the topic that I'm going to discuss today. Women in India. Their condition. As the condition moved, as the condition changed, it has been practically a roller coaster ride. Clear? Talking about sociology as a subject is not sufficient enough. I want you to feel it. I want you to know it by heart. Clear? But right now we are not doing that. We are trying to understand how to choose an optional. We were in that process. So the first thing I said, we should select a subject which is smaller in syllabus. The syllabus should be limited because already GS has a vast syllabus. Along with the vast syllabus of GS, if I'm taking another optional subject which is also vast in syllabus, guys, only God can save you. Okay? Number two, familiarity with the subject. Where I told you that please don't go for the subject of your graduation or your master's because of your emotional attachment. Because whatever you have studied in your graduation, that was not application oriented, that was typically bookish. Believe me, what you did, you mugged the book, you crammed it, you went to give the examination, you vomited what you had mugged, what you had crammed. Right? And the examiner was practically going through your vomit in the answer sheet. We, the poor people, the teachers, we do that. And you have no idea what you vomit in the answer sheet. Right? I'm calling it a vomit. Because that's the pain of our lives. Okay? Anyway, let's come back. Simultaneously, I'm also looking at, say, so this is another reason. Don't be emotional while choosing the optional subject. Right? Rather, look at those subjects which are practically oriented, which has more application part. Because scoring marks becomes easier with those kind of subjects. Does sociology fit the bill? Let's see. I'm not going to depend on my words. I'm going to look at what UPSC says. This is the 71st annual report of UPSC. Let me tell you this. I would have preferred the last one, 72nd annual report. This is the second last one, right? But the 72nd annual report is nothing but a mere statement by UPSC. There's no data available. That's the reason why I had to go for the 71st annual report, the last annual report where I'm getting the data. Okay? I'm going to look at the various optional subjects here and how they help students to score. This graph is actually, this chart is actually there in that material as well, which has been shared with you. Okay. Still, let me do it from here itself. This is the name of the subject. This is how many people appeared with the subject. This is how many people finally qualified with the subject. And this is the percentage of people qualifying with the subject. Now see, if I look at animal husbandry, right? If I look at this, there are 16 people who appeared, 3 qualified, 18.8% is the final percentage. Great. Really? If you ask me, I'll say maybe those 3, they were genuinely exceptional in the subject. This cannot be a trend. This is not a trend. Only 16 people taking an optional, taking a subject, and 3 out of them qualifying is not a general trend. This is a mere instance. High chances those 3 on any given day, they have good command over this subject, and that's why they chose the subject. If you ask me, I would be looking at those subjects only taking those subjects where I may find at least 1,000 plus people appearing. They will give me the trend. How many subjects are there like this? One is anthropology. See, 1,189 students who appeared, 108 students who qualified, finally qualified. And that's the percentage is 9.1%. The next one I'm looking at is geography. 1,916 people, they had geography as an optional, 105 people who qualified, percentage is 5.5. Next I'm looking at is political science. 1,662 people who had this subject as an optional, 137 out of them qualified, percentage is 8.2%. And the last one is sociology. 1,263 people, they had sociology as an optional, 126 out of them qualified, 10%. This is not my data. It's not me who's saying this. It's UPSC who's giving us the record, their record. This is sociology. Question is why with sociology more number of people they qualify or the percentage is always higher? There are certain reasons. The reasons are there in front of you only in that material. Let's look at those areas of the syllabus which sociology as a subject it touches. And by syllabus I mean the overall syllabus. Let's talk about the essay papers. May I take the essay paper of this year, 2023? May I look at it? Chalo. This is the essay paper of this year, 2023. Okay. Look at the topics of essay. In section A, I'm looking at this particular point. Not all who wander are lost. What's the meaning of this statement? That's a simple translation of the or simple breakdown of the statement. Exactly. Experience, knowledge, and all these things. Stop. Let me ask you, why do we touch feet of the elderly people? Something we do regularly. Now, whenever an elderly person comes to our house after a long time, we go meet the person, greet the person, touch their feet. Why? What will happen if the person doesn't bless you? You'll be doomed forever. Acha, chalo, let me present it in a different way. In Hinduism, we believe that a God exists in every individual. So even within you, God exists. When you're touching the feet of another person, aren't you insulting the God within you? Yes or no? No. You know what we do when we touch the feet of the elderly person? What is the actual reason? When we touch the feet of the elderly person, we actually look at the feet of the person. The rugged feet of that elderly person. That rugged feet, the cracked heels and all, they tell us about the experience of life of that elderly person. So when you're touching the feet of the elderly person, you're bowing before the experience and the knowledge that that person has. You're not insulting the God within you. The God within you is no lesser than the God within that person. You're appreciating the knowledge and the experience that that person holds. Knowledge, experience, learning does not only come from books. Books are only one mode of gaining knowledge. Clear? See, these are things we do regularly, but we don't know the meaning of these things. Clear? So now tell me, what's the meaning of this statement? Let's talk about the sannyasis. We all have heard of them, right? I'm not going much farther. I'm starting from Adi Shankaracharya, 700 CE, 700 Common Era. Shankaracharya has been roaming around the whole India. When Shankaracharya decided, Adi Shankaracharya decided he is going to re-establish Hinduism, reclaim the old spot of Hinduism. Why? 700 CE, given the Pala kings of Bengal and so many other rulers, Buddhism was on the rise. Buddhism was dominating India. Majority of the religion of India was Buddhism, not Hinduism. Hinduism was on the decline. Hinduism had, by that time, had already become a minority religion. So Shankaracharya comes forward with the idea of reclaiming the lost glory of Hinduism. And he decides, okay, I'm going to get Hinduism rid of all the evils, all the ill practices. How to do that? He decided, okay, I'll go to every corner and all the great Pandits who are there, I'll debate with them. We will invite all the people to come and watch the debates. And in the debate, I will establish the simplicity and the kind-heartedness of Hinduism. That's what I'm going to portray. He decided to go to an area called Mithila, in present-day Bihar, Mithilanchal. Right? The person he wanted to debate with, that person by that time was in penance. That person decided, okay, that person was also a sannyasi, but he felt that he did a wrong. So that person was doing a penance. So that person told Adi Shankaracharya, okay, I can't debate with you because I am doing a penance right now. You go to my best student. That best student of that person was called Mandana Mishra. Mandana Mishra would become the first Shankaracharya, after Adi Shankaracharya, the first Pitadhaksh or first head of the Matha of Kanchipuram. Okay. So Shankaracharya will go to this areas in Madhya Pradesh. So again, Shankaracharya will travel from Mithilanchal to Madhya Pradesh, meet Mandana Mishra. He will be going for the debate and all that thing. Tell me about all this roaming around that Shankaracharya was doing. Let's talk about Vivekananda. Do you know how much Vivekananda traveled across the country to know everyone, to know every bit? Vivekananda was one of the most scientific minds we can ever think of. He never ever accepted anything just because it was told to him by his guru. His guru, Ramakrishna Paramhans, told him that God resides in the human beings. Vivekananda was not confident with the statement. He started searching for it. Finally, the statement comes out of Vivekananda where he says that a person can be a barber, a cobbler, a sweeper, doesn't matter. They all are my brothers. They all are Indians and they all are my brothers. He would completely reject the idea of caste hierarchy. That's Vivekananda. People hardly read Vivekananda properly. You're looking at one of the greatest humanists of the time. That's Vivekananda. But this whole knowledge that you're talking about came through wandering around, roaming around, meeting people, gaining experience. Sannyasi. The person whose sam or sansar has been destroyed. Samnyash. Why? Because he has given up one family. Samsar means family. He has given up one family for the sake of the larger family. Are they the lost souls? Maybe say the sannyasis are the lost causes, are the lost people. No, they are not. They're the ones who embody knowledge. This book that you saw me carrying with me, this is Manu Samhita. Manusmriti. The script is Bengali, right? But the language is Sanskrit. We will be using it today in the class. We need to. While talking about women, I need to. I need to see what happened with them, what was going on with them. Anyway, Manu, Bhagwan Manu, again a sannyasi who was roaming around, looking at the society and codifying whatever he was seeing in the society of that time. The understanding of the society of that time. Manu has been abused sufficiently. You don't have to abuse him separately. Even today, I'm going to look at the bad things in that book, believe me. Right? But it was not the fault of that guy. What he was doing, he was roaming here and there and he was getting the ideas of the society and codifying them. These were not his ideas. These were the ideas of the society. The way the society was behaving, the way the society was reacting. So the collective knowledge you're looking at is the collective knowledge of the society, which the sannyasis, they embody. Now, may we call them the lost people? No, they are not. So now tell me about this statement. Not all who wander are lost. Sociology, typical sociology. Not only that. Section B. Okay? And not one, but three topics. Topic number one. Girls are weighed down by restrictions, boys with demands, two equally harmful disciplines. Do you know from where this question has been raised? Take out that material that you have, or let me do it for you. Actually, you don't have to. I'm doing it for you. This is something else. This is for... I'm going to avoid the first part. It will be too much for you at this stage. I'm going to social stratification, the topic of social stratification here. Look at the dimensions of stratification. Within these dimensions of stratification, do you see this word? Gender. Paper 1, I hope you all have got the syllabus, right? Within paper 1 only, go to topic number 5 of paper 1. In topic number 5 of paper 1, see the dimensions of stratification, theories of social stratification, and then dimensions of stratification. Within dimensions of stratification, look at gender. That question that you saw, this particular essay, right? Girls are weighed down by restrictions, boys with demands. It's typically from that area. Not only that, I'm looking at topic number 7. A society that has more justice is a society that needs less charity. What does this mean? What's the meaning of this particular statement? I didn't elaborate this intentionally. I would love to go for this particular topic. Hold on. Immediately after this, we'll go for that topic. So tell me about this particular point. Justice, right? Let's talk about I think the condition of net is really bad here. Let us look at this particular image. What's written there in the preamble? I hope polity has started, right? Okay. Whether in analog or if you're coming from some other institute, doesn't matter. Yeah, it's a bad one here. It reads, we the people of India solemnly resolve to give ourselves. Let me read it properly from somewhere else. We the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign socialist secular democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice. What is that justice? Social, economic and political. Now let's look at this question again. A society that has more justice is a society that needs less charity. What does justice mean? That That means I should treat Mr. Mukesh Ambani and a vegetable vendor on the street equally. Are they equal? Then, so if Mr. Mukesh Ambani doesn't require one particular reservation or one particular advantage, that vegetable vendor should also not require that. Is that the concept? It's equitability or equity. Clear? Not everyone is standing at equal position. 5 fingers of my hands are not equal, guys. How can I talk about the 5 people on the streets? Given this, how can we ensure that they all get equal advantage of the developments? Because believe me, it's the Constitution of India only which is talking about this. Let's look at Article 39B and C of Indian Constitution. Believe me, I don't know how much polity you're studying there in that class. I'll make you study more polity here. I'm a very bad teacher. Let's look at them. The ownership and control of material resources of the community are so distributed as best to subserve the common good. Whatever limited resources we have, it should provide common good for everyone. That money that's there in the hands of the government of India, that money does not belong to the industrialists alone. It belongs to everyone, to every people, every goddamn person on the road. See, that the operation of the economic system does not result in the concentration of wealth and means of production to the common detriment. Wealth should not concentrate in the hands of the few only. But that's exactly what's happening, because if I go by the recent data, 72% of the wealth created during the year 2018 and 19 went to just top 1% of India's population. Top 10% of the country, they owned 90% of the wealth created, and remaining 90% of the population, they owned 10% of the wealth created. Tell me. That's the idea I'm looking at here. Social justice. Take out the syllabus. Go to paper 2. Look at visions of social change. Section C, I think. Clear? Now let's look at the last one. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. So what have we learned in school? If this is what education is, what have we learned in school? If I have to speak, I'll be speaking both in favor and against this statement. Anyway, let me just give you one brief idea. You don't have to tell me. Just think of the subject which you disliked the most during your school days. It can be maths. I can read lips. It can be physics, it can be chemistry. For me, it was chemistry. I loved math and physics like anything, but finally I decided not to go for science because of chemistry. Chemistry, one subject was good enough to make me decide ki no, not science. Okay. Now think of the teacher who taught you that subject. Either you didn't like that teacher or you were scared of that teacher. You were not scared of the teacher because you didn't like the subject. You didn't like the subject because you were scared of that teacher or you didn't like that teacher. Not in my class, guys. From our childhood days, we have been told not to ask questions. We have been taught ki don't ask foolish questions. Now, so many times we have been told, what foolish question are you asking? What kind of a question is this? You know why the question was foolish? Because the person to whom you asked the question didn't know the answer. No question is a foolish question. Believe me, the doubts that you'll be having, or even right now you might be having so many doubts, others are also having those doubts. Even they are also scared just like you to ask questions. And if you ask me, please, I'll be more than happy to have those questions. Sorry. Let me give you one particular question, which I got from a kid of 5 years. This kid asked this question to the mother. Then the mother scolded the kid like anything and stopped the kid. The question is, why in February we have 28 days? And why do we do the adjustment, the leap year adjustment? 2024 is a leap year, right? Why do we do the adjustment in the month of February? Let me simplify the question for you. Whenever we do any adjustment, we do the adjustment at the end. Now, anyone who does the adjustment in the beginning or in the middle? No. You'll never know what amount will be there to be adjusted. So how can you do the adjustment at the middle or in the beginning? We always do the adjustment at the end. While dividing, simple division, remainder, the remainder that's left, right? You need to adjust that remainder, na? So when will you be doing the adjustment? At the end only? Will you be doing the adjustment in the beginning? You can't do that. So tell me, why do we do the adjustment on the second month of the year? Think, he knows, I use this example so often. You know what struck me the most? The age of that kid, 5 years. The mother scolded the kid like anything. What kind of a stupid question is this? It's February, which has 28 days. Why? The mother has been institutionalized. The mother has been taught all her life not to ask questions, but to accept things. So the mother has learned to accept things. The kid couldn't. That's why the kid asked the question. There's a question of a 5-year-old kid, and I'm asking to the people who are 22, 23 right now. Answer me. Believe me, to get the answer to this question, I had to study for 1 month. I am not a know-all. I'm not omniscient. I'm not Shiva. I can't know everything. There can be occasions where you may ask me a question and I may not know the answer of that question. I don't believe in giving you nonsenses. I would tell you openly that, see, right now I don't know the answer. Give me 2 days time, I'll find out the answer. I'll check for it. In education, there is no scope for ego. If I become an egoist now, I'll be doing the most amount of harm to you. The day I'll become egoist. Because no one can know everything. Other than Shiva, I don't think anyone can claim this. Other than the Almighty, I don't think anyone can claim this. Clear? So now tell me. That simple question. It was there in front of your eyes throughout, till today. See, let's look at the evolution of calendar. The calendar that we use today is called Gregorian calendar. Okay? The last adjustment to this calendar was done around 300 CE, 300 Common Era. Right? Emperor Constantine, the last Catholic Roman emperor, the last Roman emperor of that time, who adopted Catholicism. Okay? During his time, there was one conference of Nicosia, when it was decided that we are going to make 1st January as the first day of the month. Why? In Bible it says, Jesus was born on 25th of December. After 6 days, a bright star came up on the sky and told everyone that the Messiah has been born. Right? So, 6 days after 25th of December, 1st of January. Midnight of 31st of December and 1st of January. That's why it was decided the 1st of January is going to be the first day of the month, first day of the year. Right? The last time adjustment was done was during the time of, this was 76 BCE, Julius Caesar. Again, Rome. Right? Julius Caesar would make 1st of April the first day of the year. Financial year, even today, starts from that date. This was started by Julius Caesar. Right? He would rename the month of July after himself. He was born in that month. So today the name of the month, July, comes from Julius Caesar. Similarly, his nephew, Augustus Caesar, would rename the month of August after himself. August means great. His name was Augustus Caesar, so he renamed the month in which he was born, and that the name of the month became August. Okay, but even this is not the original calendar. The original Gregorian calendar, it started from, it came up a way back. I can't date it. I can't give you the date when it was started. The first day of the year was 1st of March. Start from the month of March and see October, right? Octa, 8. March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, Octa, the 8th month of the year. September, Septa, 7th month of the year. November, Nova, 9th month of the year. December, right? 10th month of the year. So, it actually started from 1st of March, and February was the last month of the year. That's why all the adjustments were done in the month of February. That month, which was the last month of the year, today has become the second month of the year. To get to know all of these things, I had to study for a month, man. And this was the question of a 5-year-old kid. Now do you realize what has happened with us? From our childhood days only, we have been scolded, we have been stopped from asking questions, and the inquisitiveness within us, it has been killed actually. We have been institutionalized. We have been taught to accept things without asking questions. Do ask questions, it's good. Clear? So now tell me, let's come back to what we were doing. We were talking about how to choose an optional. Let's come back to that point again. Okay? So number one, I'm talking about the syllabus. Number two, I'm talking about the application part. Number three, I'm looking at the application in the syllabus also. Take out that handout that has been given to you. Look at the last 5 years essay topics. It is there. I did it for 2023, right? You have that discussion there in that material only. See the essay topics from which particular section, those essay topics they have been raised, they have been asked. This is just one thing, essay. You talk about essay, you talk about paper 1, you talk about paper 2, you talk about paper 3, you talk about paper 4. In all the papers, sociology has its application. That's the subject. Now do you realize why this particular result, this spectacular result? And the last point, always go for those optionals which are taken by many. Why? Easy availability of material. Although during your time, this is not a boon, this is a bane. This is a curse actually. Today, given the digital revolution and all, majority of the informations that you have is junk and is poison. I have seen teachers, so-called teachers, teaching in so many online platforms where the topics are completely nonsense, utter nonsense. They are nowhere close to what sociology, the subject actually is. God knows from where they are speaking all those things. So that too is a thing. Be careful. Genuinely be careful. Majority of the people who teach today, right, they have not even qualified prelims. And they become teachers. They don't even have the basic understanding of the requirement of mains. What it takes to qualify the mains, what it takes to, see, even I failed. I failed in interview. I won't deny that. I faced interview, I failed. I couldn't qualify. Right. But at least I know what it takes to qualify prelims, what it takes to qualify mains. I also do know what all mistakes I did in interview. Please don't repeat those mistakes. That's what my point is. Learn from my mistakes. That should be good enough for you. But as for mains and prelims, we know what it takes to qualify. There are certain things. Clear? So be careful of the advices you're taking. There are lots of advices available which are actually poisonous. Right? You may ask me a question, if majority of the content available online is so junk, why do they exist? That's because of our habit. We Indians, we never give feedback. How many of you buy goods online, buy clothes and all these things online? Through Amazon, Myntra, God knows what all, Flipkart, right? Right? And tell me on how many occasions you give the feedback. Now do you realize why those junk, they exist? The fault is ours. Clear? Anyway, let's come back. So these are the reasons, or these are the points to be chosen or to be looked at while choosing an optional subject. That's what I would say. Now, obviously, I would always be biased towards sociology. I love this subject. I won't deny that. Right? I fell so much deeply in love with this subject that I did my master's subsequently, and my journey went on. Right? So I won't deny that I am in love with this subject, so I'll be biased towards this subject. It is for you to decide. I gave you the pointers. I gave you the points to look at while choosing an optional. Now the decision should be yours. I'm also going to make your process a little bit more easier. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take up one topic from the syllabus, and let us discuss that topic in the class. Let us see what sociology actually studies, or what we do while studying in sociology. Clear? Maybe? Chalo. Put the heading somewhere. I hope we all have copies with us. Right? Take out the copy. Put the heading somewhere. Condition of women in India. Condition of women in India from 2700 BCE. From 2700 BCE till today. Let's look at the condition of the woman first, and then we'll talk about, if we get some time, we'll talk about the women's movement and all these things. Right? Actually, if I have to reach up to today, I'll have to talk about the women's movement. That's why I made this vast heading. Practically, I'm covering 5,000 years. 5,000 years of history of women in India. Okay. 2700 BCE. What was going on in India? What was there during that time? IVC. Okay. Tell me the condition of women in IVC. The question is to you. Do you think the condition of women were good, were bad, were like today? How was it? How was the condition of women during IVC, during Indus Valley Civilization? See, we have so many sculptures available from the IVC. Let's look at these sculptures. Let's look at this one, the first one, which was here, the second one, the third one, right? I hope you're following my cursor here, right? So let me erase the board for you. Do you know all these sculptures, these three sculptures, number one, where the cursor is right now, the sculpture 2 and the sculpture 3, these are sculptures of mother goddesses. These are not the sculpture of a common girl. This is the only sculpture of a common girl. This one or these. These are the common sculptures of common people. In these sculptures, we do see exquisitely designed saris, ornaments, and all these things. What about these sculptures? No. And then we have this priest king, right? We all have seen this image previously as related with Indus Valley civilization. The priest king, as he is called. Look at the exquisitely designed shawl that he is wearing, the nicely trimmed beard that he is having, his adorning, right? Why no priestess? Look at what these ladies are doing. They are either washing clothes or doing some household job. See? Carrying a baby, washing clothes. Show me one single image or a sculpture where a woman is studying. This girl, she is dancing. She is called the figure of a dancing girl. You can see this. Dancing girl and mother goddess. Show me one sculpture of a girl or a woman who is studying or who's riding a chariot. Don't tell me Indus Valley people didn't knew about warfare. That idea is gone, long gone. How come? I'm looking at a bronze and copper chariot made during Indus Valley civilization, which has been found around the village of Sinoli. The Sinoli chariot. And this was a war chariot. I hope you can see this. The wheel. So don't tell me that Indus Valley people didn't knew about warfare and all these things. They knew about warfare and everything properly. We didn't have the evidences, that's why we thought that they were peace-loving people and all that. So show me one particular figurine where a woman is riding a chariot or a woman is studying. Show me. Just because they worship the mother goddess does not make them nice people. Even we worship mother goddesses. And then tell me about the figure of rape that happens in my country. In every 8 minutes, a girl or a woman gets raped in my country. In every 8 minutes. That's the figure. Clear? So on what basis can I say that the condition of women in Indus Valley civilization was great? My point is, I do not have evidence which can help me to conclude. I do not have conclusive evidences. That's the truth. I'm yet to understand. I do not know much. Let's talk about woman or condition of woman in the Vedic civilization. Early Vedic civilization. Again, the time frame is also the same. Do you know that? The time frame for Indus Valley civilization starts from 2700 BCE, goes on till 1500 BCE. Time frame for early Vedic civilization starts from 2700 BCE, goes on till 1200 BCE. After 1200 BCE starts the latter Vedic period. How come? This particular scripture gets written. We'll study the scripture as well. Rig Veda Dasam Mandala, the 10th chapter of Rig Veda. Within the 10th chapter of Rig Veda, this particular section gets written, called Purush Suktam. Especially this particular shloka, shloka number 13. Brahmana Sumkumasit, Bahu Rajana Krita, Uru Tadasya, Yadvaishya, Padbyagum Shudra Ajayata. From the face of the Almighty are born the Brahmins. From the arms of the Almighty are born the Kshatriyas. From the thigh, Uru. This word Uru here, where I'm moving my cursor right now, means thigh. From the thigh of the Almighty came the Vaishyas. Padbhyaghum, Padma, or feet. From the feet of the Almighty came the Shudras. Caste system, rise of the caste system. I'm looking at the beginning of latter Vedic period. Yeah, but that's 2700 BCE.
But it's all around India, right? India settled in India, but then when they developed the Vedic structure.
Rig Veda was not written at one point of time, man. Do you think someone sat down and started writing the Veda? First came chapter number 2 to 6, time frame 2700 BCE. Then came chapter number 7, then chapter number 8, then chapter number 1, then chapter number 9, then chapter number 10.
They have been writing this Veda since they
Yes, absolutely. The process has been going on. When I'm looking at this particular section, I'm looking at a river called Saraswati. By the time this section is being written, Saraswati had dried up. A distance of 1500 years. And who am I to say this? No, I'm nobody. There is a branch of archaeology called linguistic archaeology. Linguists, language, use of the words and grammar. Let me ask you, the Telugu you speak today, the Telugu in which you write today, was this a Telugu written or used 100 years back? Tell me the evolution of Telugu over 100 years. Now tell me the evolution of a language over 1500 years, from 2700 BCE to 1200 BCE. If the change in Telugu over 100 years is so visible, tell me about the change in Sanskrit over 1500 years. How much change would there be? Clear? It was never written at one point of time. Don't think so. Simple. Brahman. It's not Purohit. Because when I'm looking at chapter number 2 to 6, I'm looking at the word Purohit. I'm looking at the word Rajan, not the word Kshatriya. They're in front of you only. Because when I'm looking at chapter number 2 to 6, I'm looking at the Varen system, profession. The highest profession, Rajan. Who are the Rajans? The warriors, the defenders of the society. Second category, Purohit. Those who are the beholders of scriptural knowledge. The third category, Vaishya. Those who are the commoners. Those who hold Vishaya. Vishaya, property. Clear? There's no mentioning of Shudra or Ati Shudra or Antaja or any such term. Even here, I'm not finding the word Antaja. I'm not finding the understanding of untouchability here. Am I? Only 4 varnas are mentioned. Brahman, Rajanya, Vaishya, and then Shudra. Where are the Antajas? The Adi Dravidians, Ati Shudra, Nama Shudra, so many terms, right? Where are they? Clear? So it was never written at one point of time. It was written over the period. Okay? Chalo, let me come back to what we were discussing. So let's talk about the condition of woman during this period. How was it? Exceptional. I'm looking at a woman. See, the Vedas, they are called Apurushya. What's the meaning of Apurushya? It's not written by any man or any human being. It has been composed by God. God has been giving Vedas to us. That's the idea. In this part, I'm finding names of a few ladies. Gargi, Apala, Ghosha, Lopamudra, Atreyi, Maitri. Who were they? They were the leading ladies of literature. They composed hymns, and those hymns are there in the Vedas. Right? We study those hymns. When I'm putting that part of Rig Veda and Griha Sutra side by side, I'm finding woman even had the right to wear the sacred thread, Janayu. Can a woman even today think of getting the Janayu, wearing the Janayu? I'm looking at a time when woman could perform the Havana on her own. Even women could take up warfare. They could be part of the Rajanya. There were traditions of warrior princesses. Clear? I'm looking at men and women both having the right to remarry. Serial monogamy. At one point of time, you can have only one partner. But after divorce or after your partner dies, you can remarry. Both men and women, they can. Griha Sutra. I'm looking at 6th chapter of Rig Veda where a man is proposing the widow of his elder brother. The elder brother has died. That lady was lamenting. She was crying. The man comes forward, extends the hand and tells her, "Oh lady, hold my hand, move forward in life." 6th chapter of Rig Veda. Now tell me. I'm looking at a shloka written by one of the Kavi, one of the composers of hymn called Sisu Angiras. He writes, "My father is a Purohit." Mark the term, Purohit, not Brahmin. My father is a Purohit. My mother breaks corn on the stone, corn grinder. I'm a poet. We all carry on with our activities in quest for wealth, in quest for money. So the corn grinding is not the household activity. The mother is a professional corn grinder. A Purohit marrying a corn grinder. Tell me about caste system in that society. Tell me about economic opportunities for women in that society. Clear? I'm moving somewhat forward. I'm coming to this particular time, 1200 BCE. Already look at the term Purusha Suktam for men. Suktam or tradition for men, not for women. Already women are being discarded. I'm a student of sociology. I told you I'm going to do post-mortem here. I'm moving some 600 years from here, from 1200 BCE to 600 BCE, the time of Gautam Buddha. Why is his name Gautam Buddha? His original name was Siddhartha. Why not Siddhartha Buddha? Why Gautam Buddha? Why the term Gautam? His?
Stepmother's name was Gautam.
Right. His mother and his father, Shuddhadan, Maya and Shuddhadan. Maya died in childbirth. While giving birth to Siddhartha, Maya died. After Maya's death, Shuddhadan, the king of the Shakyas, he remarried the sister of Maya, Gautami. Gautami and Maya were two sisters. After Maya's death, Shuddhadan marries Gautami. Gautami, throughout her life, didn't take her own child. She dedicated her life to the young Siddhartha, to the child. She knew the society will be raising fingers at her. Because in Indian society, if a woman is not being able to give birth to a child, people do raise finger at her. People raised finger at her as well, at Gautami as well. She didn't care. She raised Siddhartha as her own. Look at the bonding between the mother and the child. Siddhartha takes sannyas. At the time of sannyas, you renounce every worldly thing, every connection with the world, with your previous life. He left everything, not his mother's name. He becomes Buddha, but still he remains a child of Gautami, Gautam Buddha. Such a great story, right? When Siddhartha left the family at the age of 30 years, Gautami became half mad. Siddhartha was the only thing she had in life, and Siddhartha left the household. Siddhartha went off, and she became practically crazy. After 12 years, Siddhartha comes back as Gautam Buddha. Gautami wants to join the Buddhist Sangha. Gautami also wants to leave the worldly life and join Siddhartha or join Gautam Buddha in the ascetic life. Buddha refuses. Why? Woman has no right to sannyas. At least at that point of time, woman had no right to sannyas. Right to directly participate in religion was already taken away from her. I'm looking at the stories, the various stories of the time. I'll be talking about all those stories one by one. Now, what happened then? One of the favorite students of Buddha, called Anand, Anand would get into a fierce debate with Buddha and will defeat Buddha in the debate. Only after being defeated by Anand, Buddha will accept and the woman's Sangha would be opened. Gautami will join as the first Bhikshuni. Clear? I'm looking at the time, the overall time, and how women were being treated during that time. I'm looking at Magadha, Haryanka dynasty, the most glorified ruler of the dynasty, Bimbisara. You made a movie or something of that sort on that guy, right? Anyway, whatever it might be. One of the most lecherous character. Sorry, but true. I'm looking at a girl called Amrapali. Right? She is hailed as a great beauty. She is hailed as a great exponent of dance and music. But what is she? A prostitute. She can't marry. She has no right to marry. In the history, the man who's dubbed as a villainous character, Ajatashatru, would be the one to liberate her, would be the one to rescue her. Because Ajatashatru also, he didn't care about the so-called, societal norms. Let me tell you one more story of Buddha's life. Yashodhara, Buddha's wife, Siddhartha's wife. After Buddha came back at the age of 42, after 12 years of penance, Yashodhara went to Buddha to complain. What did you do with me? Why did you do this with me? Do you know what was the response of Buddha? The response of Buddha was, lady, all your complaints are to Siddhartha. Siddhartha is no more. Siddhartha is dead. The person you're talking to is Gautam Buddha. I want that logic, man, in my life. I would love to use that logic. The man to whom you're talking, he died yesterday. I have a new man today. So I have no responsibility. Really? Tell me about the pain of the life of Yashodhara. She didn't sign up for that. No one cares about her. So tell me already a decline from this particular stage and gradually. 300 years more. From 600 BCE to 300 BCE. A great book is being written. Kautilya's Arthashastra. Started by the first Kautilya, Chanakya, Vishnugupta. There were 6 Kautilyas. Kautilya is a position. Kautilya is no man, no human being. Okay? Kautilya. The term coming from the word Kutil, Kutila. The person who gives advice. Right? He was not the prime minister, he was the principal advisor. Chanakya was the first Kautilya. The position went on for up to the first half of Ashoka's life. Ashoka will abolish this position. Okay? All these 6 Kautilyas, they have been writing that particular book. The book was written over a period, just imagine, the book was written over a period of 90 years. 320 BCE to 230 BCE. Right? From here only you should have the question that how can a man, one single person, write a book for 90 years? It was a position, and there were 6 Kautilyas. We only know the name of the first Kautilya, who was Vishnugupta Chanakya. Okay, anyway, let's come back. In that book, Kautilyas are writing, woman of respectable household has no right to singing and dancing. Woman of a respectable household should not go out of the house alone. She should always be accompanied by a male member. That male member can be her 5-year-old son. God knows who will protect whom. Believe me, the society already had started not to trust woman. She was being looked at as a burden. That process has started. I'm moving 600 years more. 300 CE. From 300 BCE to 300 CE. Right? 600 years. 300 before Common Era to 300 Common Era. Gupta Era. I'm looking at that book being written. Manu Samhita. The canon of law written by Manu. I'm looking at 9th chapter, chapter number 9, shloka number 2. Let's do that. Should I read the meaning for you? May I break it down for you? Okay? The meaning is, a woman should always be under the rule of the husband or a male member. She is never to be given independence. What a nice thing, na? I'm looking at, just look at this and you'll get it. Day and night, woman must be kept in dependence by male of their families, and if they attach themselves to sensual enjoyment, they must be kept under one's control. See, it says, Vishayeshu, a woman should never even aspire to have property. If she holds property, nothing more horrendous can be than this. Just imagine how it's looking at woman. Look at shloka number 3. Her father protects her in childhood, her husband protects her in youth, her son protects her in old age. A woman is never fit for independence. Chapter 9, shloka number 2 and shloka number 3 of Manu Samhita. That's the condition of woman. Tell me from where to where they are moving. I'm not taking out all the horrendous things written here, mentioned here. People say Manu Samhita praises woman like anything. Yes, it does. Not woman, just 3 roles. The role of the mother, the role of the sister, the role of the wife, not even the role of the daughter. Why? Because the daughter is nothing but a burden on the father. Why? Look at this particular statement here. Reprehensible is the father who gives not his daughter in marriage at the proper time. The daughter is a burden. She has to be given out at the proper time. That's Manu Samhita. Don't blame Manu. He was not doing anything unique. He was roaming around, he was getting the idea from the society, and he was codifying it at one place. This was the mindset of the people of that time. That's what you're looking at. Don't blame Manu alone. Clear? So, tell me what was going on. She is nothing but a property. Do you realize that? That's how the society is looking at her. A burden and a property. Tell me the transition from 2700 BCE around to 300 CE. Over 2900 years, that's the transition. Transition of the condition of woman. Still, certain things are yet to happen to her. 700 CE, right? I'm looking at one particular scripture being written. A story. The story of Savitri and Satyavan. Ever heard of Sati Savitri? This term? Why is she immortalized?
She went to bring back husband's life.
Let me tell you the whole story. The husband was a leper, suffering from leprosy. Okay? Even in that condition, the husband wanted to go to a brothel to enjoy sex with prostitutes. She took the husband as a dutiful wife. Such a nice wife, right? And then when the husband died, she also got on top of the pyre. So when Yama came to claim the life of Satyavan, she fought with Yama. Yama was so pleased. Yama gave the life back to both of them. So, let's burn the widows. Sati. If they're really Sati, they'll bring back the life of their husbands. Or else, they'll also be burned along with the husband. Let's take out their lives. Why? I told you today only, nothing happens in the society without a cause, without a reason. It might be a very despicable act, but there has to be some reason behind it. Not every woman was made a sati. Women in their youth were made sati. Why? 2 reasons. Reason number 1, She's going to lead a long life. She'll be an extra mouth to feed. She doesn't hold any property of her own. Throughout her life, she has been depending on the father's property or on the husband's property. So after the death of the husband, now who will feed her? She is nothing but an extra mouth. No? And then there is also the possibility of her sexual exploitation and she becoming pregnant. Sexual exploitation, no one cared. But she becoming pregnant would have been scandalous. Finish her off. Kill her. Sati. And then glorify it. Such a nice practice, na? This was actually the story written around 600 CE. 100 years more, 700 CE. I'm looking at a Purana being written, Devi Puran. Okay? In that Devi Puran, it's being written that Parvati falls in love with Shiva at the tender age of 7 years. I don't know whether kids of 7 years had that feeling or not. Either was playing football in that age. Who cares about love and all that thing? No, maybe. She did penance for 1 full year. When she was 8 years of age, she was already a master, a maestro in martial art and all these things. She was being trained by her father, Parvadraj Himalaya, right? And at the same point of time, she was also doing the penance and tapasya for Shiva to please Shiva. Finally, after 1 year, Shiva would agree to marry her. I can't digest this particular story. You know why? I am follower of Shakta cult. Shakti, I'm a Bengali. Right? Mother goddess Durga. I just can't digest this story, man. And then the whole society starts child marriage. In the name of Gauri Dan. Girls as young as 4 years, 5 years were getting married off. See, I love my religion like anything. I love my culture like anything. But that does not mean that there has been no wrong, no bad thing in my culture, no wrong or no bad thing in my religion. If there had been, I should also accept that and try to rectify it. That's also my responsibility. Just because I like something or I love something, I should not turn a blind eye to it. No one should. And believe me, there is no religion where we don't have any wrong. In every religion, one wrong or another is there. So many people, so many ideas, there would be mistakes, there would be wrongs. Right? I can only talk about my religion. I have no right to criticize or to try to rectify another one's religion, another person's religion. But that does not mean that wrongs and mistakes exist only in my religion. No. They exist in every religion. Do know that. Let's come back. I'm looking at the time of 900 CE to 1100 CE. Continuously, India is being invaded from the northwestern corner. First comes Mahmud of Ghaznavi, then Muhammad Ghori, one after another. Right? Areas like Sindh, Punjab, Delhi, they are being ravaged. Delhi has been a city, God knows for how many times that city has been ravaged and raped. When Mahmud of Ghaznavi attacked India, don't tell me that Mahmud of Ghaznavi was invincible. No, he was not. The warrior priests of Somnath temple held back the army of Mahmud of Ghaznavi for 7 long days. They needed support from outside. No support came. Problem is, our kings were cowards. No king was ready to cooperate with each other and stand together against that dacoit. Mahmud of Ghaznavi was nothing but a dacoit. When he came to India, he came to loot. And he looted temples and mosques both. He was no Ghazi. Why? Because in India, we have an habit of donating handsomely to our religious places. There is a reason, subsequently we'll talk about this, why we donate so handsomely to our religious places, why this habit was there. See, today we may have this National Disaster Management Act, the National Disaster Management Authority, the systems are in place and all these things. What was the system of disaster management during those days? Nothing. These religious places were the systems of disaster management. You'll always find a temple, a mosque or a gurdwara would always be constructed on a high podium. It will never be constructed on the ground. It will a podium would be constructed and on top of that the temple would be constructed. Why? Flooding. When flood comes, that podium becomes the place of refuge for the whole village. They can go and take shelter there. The prasadam or the langar, whatever is prepared, is given to everyone. Everyone should have it without any discrimination of caste, religion or anything. Associated with the temple or the mosque or the gurdwara would be a pond or a hose or a well whose water is not to be touched ordinarily. Why? Say there is drought or there is cholera. This water will still remain untouched. They can use this water for drinking purpose. Protection of the lives of the people. Natural system of disaster management. So people in India, they used to donate handsomely to the temples, mosques, and to the religious places. Mahmud of Ghaznavi, he heard that. Let's talk about the Somnath temple. A bell was hung in Somnath temple whose weight was 240 kgs. Pure gold. Forget about Mahmud of Ghaznavi, anyone would love to loot that. These are the reasons why Mahmud of Ghaznavi came. And what were the kings and the rulers were doing? Running away. When Mahmud of Ghaznavi came, he didn't only loot the resources of the temples and the mosques. He also looted girls for pleasure. Not just Mahmud of Ghaznavi, all of these invaders who came from the northwestern side. When the society was not able to defend the girls, what did they do? They put the blame on the girls only. Now, Parda system, the girls are completely blocked behind the doors. They're never to come out. Tell me how gradually condition of women in India deteriorated. How their condition ruined. Clear? How did the changes came in? I'm looking at 1820s, 1820 CE around. I'm looking at Raja Ram Mohan Roy, the first modern man in India who was thinking rationally. One question was haunting him. We know Raja Ram Mohan Roy for sati abolition, right? That's not his primary area of work. His primary area of work was women's education. Why? One idea was continuously haunting him. We Indians, we call ourselves so great. If we are so great, how could those islanders called Britishers capture this great nation? And we were so helpless in front of them. We all were so helpless in front of them. So what actually happened? How it happened? He would get to the idea that, see, it is, at the end of the day, it is our mothers who make us what we are. There is an English proverb which says, you educate a man, the man will feed the family. You educate a woman, she'll educate next 3 generations. It is our mothers who actually taught us. Whatever, you're sitting in front of me, believe me, your mother played a huge role behind you. If you're sitting in front of me, that means obviously you are a graduate, or at least you are in the final year of your graduation or so. You're at least in the process. You have achieved something in life. And tell me the role played by your mother behind that achievement of yours. Tell me about that lady. Now tell me that society where women were completely illiterate and pushed into a corner. What will happen to that society? So the first thing Raja Ram Mohan Roy realized that no, we need to ensure women's education. Clear? That's how again I'm looking at resurrection to start. I'm intentionally not stretching the topic much. Why? Because if I do so, I'll be consuming more and more time. Hold back. Let's not do that. Right? Tell me whatever we discussed here. Are they completely alien to you? High chances you have heard of all these things in tidbits. What did I do? I just weaved into in one free-flowing conversation. I collected all the points together and made it one single body of knowledge. You see how things happened. That's sociology. Okay? See, but this is not the case here, guys. Please. The point is, as I told you in the beginning, you are here for civil services. Gaining knowledge or knowing the subject is there in its own. But that's not the only area we should focus upon. There's something else as well, something additional as well. Right? There comes writing, non-verbal communication. Believe me, when you write your answer in the mains examination, and when it goes to the examiner won't even know your name. I hope we all know that in the mains, how the mains examination takes place. In the answer sheet only, questions are also printed. And you are given respective area. You have to write within that area only. Right? The invigilator would continuously be telling you not to write your name or roll number anywhere else in the copy. If you do that, you will be disqualified. You're supposed to write your name and roll number only on the front page and nowhere else. Right? When you submit the copy and the copy goes to UPSC, do you know what UPSC does? They tear off the first page. They put a unique number on the first page and the same number on the copy. So the copy becomes a copy of a number. And now it goes to not even roll number, a new unique number. Now the copy goes to the examiner. Now the examiner corrects the copy. To ensure complete unbiased evaluation. That's why this process is done. So that the examiner by no chance should know who the person is. Clear? So tell me about the significance of writing in the whole process. Writing an answer. It's not so easy. believe me. We may think, well, it's writing. If we study, we'll write. Maybe go for one exercise. Exactly what UPSC is going to do, I'm going to give you the same thing. You have 6.5 minutes to write 150 words just about yourself. You know about yourself properly. You don't need a book to read to know you, right? Let's do it. Let's check out about writing. Do it. Use any page. I'm just giving you the time. Chalo. I'm giving you 7 minutes. "150 words, 7 minutes about yourself." Write it. About yourself. Acha, 2 conditions. I don't need your name, your father's name, your home address, your school name, your college name, all these names. I want to know you. Write it. 6 minutes. 1 minute left. Time's up. Count out the number of words. See, you don't have to raise your hand or say what happened. Let me tell you what all problems you may have had faced. Number of you didn't knew from where to start. The moment I said ki no names please, not your name, your father's name, no address, no name of your school or your colleges or anything of that sort, you got disturbed there and you didn't knew what to write now. Some of you still started, wrote a few lines, few sentences, and then you didn't knew what to write. You got stuck there. So first category of people who didn't knew how to start. Second category of people who started, but after writing a few sentences, you got stuck. Some of you still wrote, but nowhere close to the required number of words, 150 words, right? And then again, look at the quality of sentence construction, the grammatical errors, the structuring, overall structuring, which point should come first, which should go later, and then the spelling mistakes and everything. Writing does not come to us naturally. Even Rabindranath Tagore was not born to be Rabindranath Tagore. Don't think that he was born from his mother's womb knowing how to write and knowing that he is going to get Nobel Prize. No, nothing like that. You have to learn. Writing is an art. Because that's the only mode of communication you will be having with the examiner, the person who's going to give you marks. And this marks matters. It's not like prelims. This is not qualifying. This marks at the end of the day will ensure whether you are in or you're out. Clear? So be careful. I wanted to show you this. That's why I made you go for this exercise. Right? These are the reasons why in the beginning I said this is going to be a workshop, not a demo class. Because I need your participation as well. Without you participating, I cannot show you how things are happening. And believe me, this can be developed. This can be easily developed. In the class, we will be working on both the fronts, both on the content as well as this writing part. Clear? Chalo. Achha, let me make an announcement here. We are going to start the batch from November, not right now. Why? See, normally what happens, people take admission in an existing batch. I don't believe in that. One batch is going on, That batch will end in the month of November. Once that batch ends, I'll start with the next batch, not before that. I'll start by the end of November. Practically, I'll be having 3.5 months of time. December, January, February, mid of March. By mid of March, that's the extended time, the 15 days time, mid of March I'm taking. By that time, the syllabus will be over. Okay? So that's what I'm going to do, not before that. So practically I need 3 months, December, January, February. So by end of November, we are going to start the next batch. Okay. Those among you who want to take admission, you can easily start taking admission right now. Because what I have done, or what we are doing, those who will take admission will start giving them the basic materials. Some very basic materials from NCERT, selected chapters of NCERT and NIOS that will be given to you people. You go through that first. And periodically there would be doubt clearing sessions with me, even till November. But that will be available only for those who are taking the admission. So that's how we are starting the process. But the classes will start from November. Because the batch that's going on, the existing batch, that's already at an advanced stage. I would not allow any admission in that batch anymore. Right? Because if anyone takes admission right now in that batch, the person will be doing more harm to himself or herself than doing any good. So no, not in an existing batch. Okay? That's all that we had to discuss. Now the platform is open to you. Any doubt, any confusion? Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Because see, ordinarily what I say, that any person should at least go for 2 to 3 readings of the optional subject. At least 2 to 3 readings. The more, the better it is. The more organized it is. Right? So in that sense, if someone is going for 2025, yes, it's high time that the person should start with the optional. Right? You know why? So normally we try to refrain these discussion in any open platform. But sociology is one optional with which it's possible to secure 300 plus marks out of 500. Possible. Possible to take it to 320, 330. In fact, I was showing you something here. This is what we were doing this year. Before the mains. Today, you know, I hope you all know, today is the optional exam for the ongoing mains, 24th of September, right? So this is one exercise we did with those students of mine who are going for mains this time, where we were doing a proper study of the last 5 years question papers, right? This is one of the ways to understand which areas are becoming significant, how to approach, what all to do. But believe me, with sociology, it's possible to secure 320 around. Now, just tell me, if you're getting 320 in the optional alone, how easy does it become for you? Forget about 320, let's talk about 300. If you're getting 300 around in the optional alone, how easy it becomes for you? Right? So, but I would suggest that if you're going for 2025, yes, this is a high time. You should start. Okay? Any other question? Any other doubt? Sure. Then I'm ending the session here itself. Okay? Thank you all. Thank you, everyone.